Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Levi, you are back in Phuket. The last time you were here, you were getting ready for your pro debut. You went back home, made your pro debut successfully. Let's talk about that fight. Let's talk about the pro debut. And, you had a long amateur career. So making your pro debut is a big deal. It's a big deal for everybody, but I think for you, there's much more expectation compared to other people. How were you mentally heading into that pro debut?
Mentally, I was spot on. I'd done all the preparations I could. I fought sort of middle of May. I came out to Thailand January 2nd, straight after New Year. So a good sort of 5.5 months preparation. Physically I was probably in the best shape that I was. Obviously made the move down to bantamweight as a day before weigh-in, as opposed to the same day weigh-ins that we normally do in Wales at featherweight. So going through the whole weight cut process again, it's an experience, but it was spot on. I worked with some great nutritionists with the fight dietitian team, and you've only got to look online and see the sort of people that they're working with, and you just see that everything is spot on with them. So mentally going into the fight, I was obviously confident in my own abilities, but again, going from amateur to professional, I was struggling with pullouts once again, and as you can imagine, when you're trying to prepare for someone professionally, it's quite difficult when you don't actually know who you're going to be facing. So you have like a solid opponent for say 6 or 8 weeks out, and then you get to 3 or 4 weeks, and it's like you change to somebody else. And then I was like a week out and I didn't have an opponent. And where do you go from there? So I'm super grateful for my coaches and obviously the promoters of the show that got me the fight. I still managed to sort of not let all the hard work go to waste. Still made my stamp as a professional. And I'm excited to get back in there. I'm scheduled to fight October the 5th. Which is around about 9 or 10 weeks away. So I'm really looking forward to sort of getting back in there and getting a bit more experience.
For sure, man. And you talked about the struggles of pullouts, and this is something that I guess was going to prepare you as you go further into your career, right? As because those things never change. Like you see it at the highest level, you see it in the UFC, you see it in Bellator, whatever. That guys are getting switch-ups all the time, and man, it's just gonna better prepare you for that. But when you got into the fight, right, it was the first round. It was a first-round finish.
Yeah.
Take us through that finish and how it all came together.
Yeah. So when I came out here into Thailand, my initial thoughts was I really want to work on my striking, because I've always gone through my amateur career as quite a dominant grappler. And I need to become a bit more of an all-rounder fighter once you start to step into those professional ranks. Everybody is good at everywhere. The game is developing sort of no end, and you can't just be good at one discipline anymore. So I went into that fight with the intentions of actually striking a little bit. My opponent was coming from a boxing background, so I thought I'd try and entertain the crowd a little bit, but I only had to land a couple of shots and it was over. So I don't know. I'm happy with the performance, but again, being a short notice opponent and stuff, I want to keep fighting, doing the best of my ability. I'm only fighting who's in front of me, and I just want to keep racking up the fights, getting some finishes, and then look to push on to bigger and better promotions.
Yeah, it seems like nowadays, especially with your long amateur career, it's not going to take many fights to get noticed, right? You're seeing guys at like 4-0.
Yeah, 100%.
Get huge opportunities. So Do you feel like that's kind of like the goal for yourself right now? The mindset is just like let's just get a couple of fights, and then people will notice,
100%.
and
Yeah.
I'll have the opportunities.
100%. You know, even as a sort of higher end amateur, I'm getting looks from some of these guys in, you know, very, very good promotions. And now that I've got to win as a professional, you know, it's only going to take, you know, maybe one more, and then look next year to sort of push on to something bigger and better. You know, I want to start sort of traveling around and getting my name out there a little bit. And, you know, it's exciting, you know, because ever since I started, this was the sort of dream, was sort of being in the bigger promotions. And, you know, everybody aspires to sort of be in the UFC one day, and, you know, this is just our next step. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to it.
You just got to be patient, right? Basically,
100%.
You know, no rush. We've seen many fighters just rush into it and rush into certain situations.
Yeah.
And you don't seem like that type. You seem like a type
No,
that take it.
well, actually, when I was here last time, I had a phone call from my coach, Richard Shaw, and he basically just wanted to confirm with me what I wanted to do. You know, he knows the level that I'm at, and he was confident that I could sort of push on now if I wanted to. But I said, you know, I want to stay on this regional scene for a little bit longer, just get some experience. You know, there's no need to rush. I've only just turned 23, and, you know, I've got plenty of time ahead of me. There's no point trying to rush and saying that I'm somewhere where I might not be ready for just yet. Just to say that I'm there, you know, I'll be there when I get there, and I'm ready for it. That time will 100% come, but it's just being smart with it, you know.
Yeah, we've seen a few fighters now that actually are UFC champions take the slow route, like a Sean O'Malley. You know, you look at someone like that, right?
100%. And, you know, going back to Sean O'Malley, he came through the Contender Series. That's something that I'm looking at. You know, it's not a million miles away. Within the next couple of years, just racking up a few professional wins. You know, you've only sort of got to be 5, 6, 7-0, and they're straight on the phone wanting you to sort of get a matchup on the Contender Series. My teammate Oban Elliott, just coming off a great performance on UFC 304. Exactly the same route. He's the first guy from our gym that has gone that route. And both fights off the back of that have been on absolutely huge UFC cards with massive names, and I think that going that Contenders route, they sort of respect you a little bit more, actually, when they're looking to match you up and they want to build you up. Oh, this guy came through the Contender Series, so, you know, I think this is definitely something that I'm looking at.
And, you know, with your accolades, you know, there's a lot of hype, and on top of the hype, there's a lot of haters too. You know,
100%.
And I know there are. They're gonna be online, right? Like,
yeah.
You see it. You see
even as an amateur, like maybe even being like 2-3-0, you know, I see it. And picking up my only loss as an amateur, you definitely see the separations between the supporters and the people that are just there just because you're winning, you know. But yeah, you know, you got to just take it with a pinch of salt. Especially as you get into that, you know, your sort of Cage Warriors or your PFL Europe, and you sort of start getting a few more eyes on you. Of course, you're going to have haters, but you just got to embrace it, you know.
Definitely. And, you know, is this kind of like the formula you have now as a professional, is to come out here for like the first half of the camp and then go back home and finish off the camp? Is that the system that you've kind of put together?
The first ever time I came here, it was just sort of get out there, experience what the world's got to offer, and it was supposed to just be like sort of one-off trip, you know, take everything in, and then I enjoyed it, got on with a few of the guys, ended up coming back. Obviously I was here this year for 3 months, and then I had a little bit of time over the summer. I got quite a big break between May from my professional debut and my second fight in October. I had the time to do it, I had the funds to do it, so I thought, why not come out and just do a short month with the guys over in Bangtao. You know, it's a great place to be, but I think 100% it's a great place to start the camp, you know, and then sort of go home and really put the grind on with my teammates back home. But I have no intentions of ever leaving my team.
Oh, for sure.
Short mixed martial arts is where I started, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be where I'll end. But it's just nice to get out and experience the world, you know, and just different people, different training, and it's the only reason I come out here, you know. I just wanna do what's best for me and just try and get better. And I think it's smart. I think it's smart, and especially, you know, making connections with people as well. It's 100%. It's one of the biggest things that I'd recommend if you can do. Just go for it, because as a young fighter, I think it's important to sort of just get away, get out of your comfort zone, and, you know, just try and develop.
Yeah, over here, you know, at Bangtao, it seems like they kind of give the fighters the freedom too. You know what I mean? It's not like they're pressuring guys to be here or whatever. They're just like, hey, you come, we're gonna help you.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives a comfort level to a lot of the fighters, such as yourself, right? Do you feel that?
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, it's the only issue with a gym like this is sort of luck of the draw of who's going to be there when you go. But every time I've come, there's always been super high level guys. This is my first time coming in July, which is, you know, classed as their low season. So I was expecting it to turn up and the match to be a little bit dead. You know, maybe have the odd pro here and there, but I've turned up and it's just as busy as high season, you know, and it's you know, it's a really good place to be. And I think in Thailand in particular, there's no MMA gym that's topping it, I don't think.
Yeah, you could say Asia, you know what I mean? Because that's that one key factor, is that you got people coming from all over the world just like yourself, and you don't have to go nowhere else, right? And then you go back home, do your thing with your team, and get ready. And you say October is
October
your
the
next
5th, yeah, it's around about nine weeks away.
Okay, so is there an opponent, or is that you just got the date locked in?
Yeah, so I've got an opponent. It's confirmed. It's actually the same guy I was supposed to be making my professional debut against. Whether or not that opponent will change, we'll see closer to the date. You know, he had his reasons to pull out the last time. We'll try and get it on this time. He's a good opponent, but I'm looking forward to it.
And if you break down the matchup, right, since you know he was the original guy for your pro debut, like, what do you think of the matchup, and like, where do you see you know, your strengths as well as, you know, some challenges maybe?
Yeah, he's a very durable, experienced veteran of the sport. He's been around a long time, and he's fought a lot of people that have, you know, gone on to do their own thing. In no means sort of disrespect the guy, but I think he's going to be a bit of a gatekeeper for me, you know, and I think he's just going to be that stepping stone for me to prove myself that I'm ready for the next step. I think, you know, as usual, my grappling is just going to be a bit too dominant for him. He's coming from quite a solid kickboxing background, and the supposed reason that he pulled out of the debut was because he was competing in bare knuckle boxing. So he was under contract that he couldn't take the fight. So, you know, I'm excited to sort of, if I got to test my striking, we'll test my striking. But I know my strengths. You know, I'm smart, and he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. So,
you know, for yourself, you know, with your experience, you know, there's a lot of fighters right now that are starting off in their amateur career, you know, and they have the same goals and dreams as you, and you're in the middle of accomplishing step by step what you want to accomplish. Like, what are some types of advice you could give to those young fighters, even though you're a young fighter?
Yeah.
Them, you know, there's kids out there that are 16 years old.
100%. You know, it's quite crazy hearing you say it, but it's quite coincidental actually. At home we've got the youth Welsh team going for the IMAF Worlds, I think either this week or next week. So I've been in contact with a couple of the younger lads, you know, going between, I think, maybe 12 to 17 years of age. They're off out there to Abu Dhabi, I believe it is. And I said, look, I'm over here. I've traveled the world. I've trained with multiple different nationalities, different people of different levels, professionals, amateurs, and nobody's different to us. You know, just go in there, be confident with yourself, be confident in your own ability. Don't get too worked up on who you're fighting. And yeah, I just think self-belief is probably one of the biggest things that you need. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, how can somebody else believe in you? And if you haven't got confidence going into that cage, you know, you're gonna get hurt. And it's not a sport where you can sort of be half in, half out. You got to be all in, because it's a dangerous sport to just sort of do as a hobby, you know.
For sure. And Shore Mixed Martial Arts, led by the big dog, right? The big man. But recently, you know, was it recently? Maybe it was like in the last year or so that you know, they revealed that he had overcome the cancer, right?
Yeah.
He was going.
Yeah.
You guys are, you know, there the whole time.
Yeah.
Did you guys know about that stuff? And
yeah, so it was around. I think it was quite recently actually that he just surpassed the 1 year cancer free.
Okay.
So it was December 2022, I believe, that us as a team collectively were told that, you know, this is what he was going through. And it was obviously a difficult time for the team, let alone what his family were going through. And, you know, he's an absolute warrior. He went through all the treatment that you had to. He stayed fit. He was still coaching throughout the whole time. He was still training throughout the whole time. You know, even if he was struggling, he wasn't, you know, showing it. And you could definitely see that he was struggling sometimes, but, you know, absolute legend, overcame it, cancer free. And you know, I just take my hat off to him, because, you know, a lot of people could have just taken that news and sort of hid away for a while until, you know, the sort of sun came again. But yeah, it's a difficult subject for the team, obviously, but he overcame it, and we're grateful for him. And even in that whole time, he was still even turning up to corner people, you know, traveling up and down the country to corner people. When it was sort of revealed to the world, when Jack Shaw, his son, fought in UFC London.
Yeah.
You know, he was going through treatment like the week just before he left to go and corner. So, you know, he's an absolute legend, and we love him. Like.
Yeah, man. What an inspiration to have.
100%,
right?
100%.
Jesus.
You know, and then people try and give excuses, maybe not turning up to the gym. And you've only got to look at him, you know, he's, you know, everything he's going through, and then he'll come straight from work or whatever he's doing, and he's still in the gym, he's still coaching, and, you know, how can you look at that and then try and make an excuse not to train hard or not to turn up? You know, absolute inspiration.
Definitely, man. Well, October you'll fight, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably get one in the early of next year as well, and well, you'll probably fight a few times next year, but seems like you got a good system going on, and yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting to follow your career from the first fight to the, you know, I don't know how many fights.
Yeah, I know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna see this year out, get another good win, go 2-0 as a professional, and I think next year we're gonna step it up and really see where I can go.
Young Money, like, where does that come from?
Yeah, so when I was making my amateur debut, I was sort of in the changing rooms, and Michael Jones actually came up with the name, The Truth, and I didn't have a nickname at the time, and he sort of went out to the MC, gave him the name, and it stuck, you know. Now I've turned it into sort of a brand.
Nice.
So this year we will be having some Young Money merchandise. Maybe not so much merchandise, because I want I want to turn this into a brand rather than you know, representing me. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Entrepreneur.
100%. You know, this sport, you haven't just got to fight. You got to be able to sell yourself, and you need to different avenues. So I think this is going to be a really exciting project.
Yeah, definitely. You know, pick up the Young Money merch when it comes out, or you know, follow the brand, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Support the brand, and if you support him, you support the brand. So
that's it.
that's all that matters
That's
at the end of the day, man. Well, it was good chatting, man. And,
yeah, 100%.
We'll
Great to see you again.
here.
Thank you very much.